Lizzy Musi was not just an ordinary girl growing up in New Jersey. She was born on January 1, 1991, in Carteret, New Jersey. Into a family where cars and racing were more than just hobbies, they were a way of life. Her father, Pat Musi, was already a well-known name in the drag racing world, famous for building powerful racing engines and for his own success on the track. Lizzy grew up surrounded by the sounds of revving engines, the smell of gasoline, and the excitement of watching cars fly down the drag strip. Unlike many kids who spend their weekends on playgrounds or in shopping malls, Lizzy spent hers in her father's garage, learning about engines, speed, and the thrill of competition. Her childhood was different but special, because every day, she was learning skills that would later make her one of the most recognized female racers in America. While some people thought racing was only a man's sport, Lizzy was determined to prove them wrong. She had a bold spirit, and her family's support gave her the courage to chase her dreams. From a very young age, she was already dreaming of following in her father's footsteps and making her own name in the racing world. When Lizzy got old enough to race, she didn't waste any time. She quickly moved from being her father's curious little helper to becoming a fierce competitor on the drag strip. Her very first races showed that she was not just riding on her father's reputation, but actually had real talent. She started with junior dragsters and smaller competitions, but soon she was competing with professional drivers, many of whom underestimated her because she was young and female. That only made her more determined. Lizzy's personality was fearless, and she loved the adrenaline rush that came with speed. She once said that racing was not just a sport to her, but something that made her feel alive. By her late teens, she had already made a name for herself among racing fans. Every race she entered brought her closer to her dream of being recognized as one of the top racers in the country. With each win, her confidence grew, and her father's guidance gave her the knowledge she needed to succeed. But racing was not always easy. It demanded discipline, focus, and sometimes a willingness to take risks that scared even experienced drivers. Lizzy was willing to do it all because her passion was stronger than her fears. Lizzy's career really took off when she began appearing in bigger races and eventually joined the popular TV show Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings. This show made her a household name among racing fans. People loved watching her not only because she was fast, but also because she carried herself with confidence and charisma. On the track, she was known for her aggressive style, pushing her car to its limits, and always fighting for first place. Off the track, fans admired her determination and down-to-earth personality. She drove a car named Bonnie, a powerful Camaro that became almost as famous as she was. Together, Lizzy and Bonnie became symbols of speed, passion, and courage. One of her biggest moments came in 2014 when she won the PDRA Pro Nitrous event, making history as the first woman to do so. That victory proved to everyone that she was not just a female racer trying to compete in a man's world. She was one of the best, period. Her growing list of achievements earned her respect from both fans and fellow racers. Each race was another opportunity to show her strength, and she rarely disappointed. Even though Lizzy was a star on the track, her journey was not without difficulties. Racing is a dangerous sport, and Lizzy faced several scary crashes that could have ended her career. One of her most serious accidents happened in 2012 when she lost control of her car and suffered injuries. Many people thought she might quit after that, but Lizzy refused to give up. She recovered, came back stronger, and continued to race. That resilience became part of her identity. She was someone who could take a hit and keep moving forward. Beyond physical risks, she also dealt with the pressure of living up to her father's legacy. Being Pat Musi's daughter meant people always expected her to perform at the highest level. On top of that, being a woman in a male-dominated sport brought extra challenges. Sometimes people doubted her skills simply because of her gender. But instead of letting those doubts bring her down, Lizzy used them as motivation. She wanted to prove that she could be just as fast, just as skilled, and just as fearless as any other driver. These challenges shaped her into the fighter that fans admired so much behind the scenes. Lizzy's life was filled with the same ups and downs as anyone else's. She was known for her warm personality, her sense of humor, and her kindness, too. Fans. She also had a very public relationship with fellow racer Kay Kelly, which many fans followed closely. Their relationship had its highs and lows, much like any couple under the spotlight. But Lizzy never let personal matters affect her love for racing. She had a strong support system through her family, especially her father Pat, who continued to guide her career. Racing was more than just her job, it was her way of bonding with her family and building lasting friendships. Despite all the fame, she never forgot her roots and always carried herself with humility. Her personal life showed people that while she was a fearless racer on the track, she was also a caring and grounded person off it. In 2023, Lizzy's life took a heartbreaking turn when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. The news shocked her, fans, friends, and the racing community. Lizzy, who had always been strong and unstoppable on the track, was now facing a battle that speed alone could not win. At first, many hoped that her fighting spirit would help her overcome the disease. She openly shared her journey with her fans, posting updates about her treatments and struggles. Her honesty and bravery inspired countless people who were going through similar battles. She showed that even in pain and fear, one could still be strong. For Lizzy, this was perhaps the hardest race of her life, but she approached it with the same courage that she brought to the drag strip. Sadly, after a long and difficult fight, Lizzy Musi passed away on June 27, 2024. At the young age of 33, her passing was felt deeply, not just by her family and fans, but by the entire racing world. People from all corners of the sport paid tribute to her, remembering her not only as a racer, but as a fighter who never gave up. Even though Lizzy's life was cut short, her legacy continues to live on. Her car Bonnie still races, carrying forward her memory every time it roars down the track. More importantly, Lizzy left behind a powerful message for women and young girls everywhere, that they can achieve greatness in any field, even in areas dominated by men. She broke barriers and became a role model for aspiring racers who now look up to her story for motivation. Lizzy showed the world that success is not about gender, but about passion, hard work, and courage. The racing community continues to honor her through tributes, races, and memorials. Her impact reaches beyond the drag strip, touching anyone who has ever faced challenges and needed inspiration to keep going. Lizzy Musi's story reminds us that while life can be short, what truly matters is the mark we leave behind. And Lizzy's mark is unforgettable. Lizzy Musi's life was a mixture of speed, strength, and struggle. From a young girl in New Jersey with a dream, she grew into one of the most respected racers in the world. She achieved what many thought was impossible, becoming a champion in a sport that was often seen as only for men. She faced accidents, doubts, and ultimately cancer, but in every battle, she showed unmatched courage. Her story is not just about racing, it is about chasing your dreams, facing your fears, and leaving behind a legacy that inspires others. Today, when fans hear the sound of a drag car engine, many of them think of Lizzy. She may no longer be physically present, but her spirit still races on every track where speed and passion meet. Her life will always be remembered as a shining example of determination, bravery, and love for the sport she dedicated herself to. Asterisk. One of the most beautiful parts of Lizzy's journey was her connection with fans. Unlike many racers who preferred to stay private or only focus on the technical side of their careers, Lizzy made time for the people who supported her. Whether it was signing autographs at events, posing for pictures, or answering questions on social media, she always carried herself with kindness. Fans loved her not only because she was fast and fearless, but also because she was approachable. She understood that without fans, racing would not have the same energy or excitement, and she treated people with genuine respect. When she announced her cancer diagnosis, fans from all over the world came together to support her. They sent her messages of hope, prayers, and encouragement. Some even shared their own cancer journeys with her, creating a sense of community and strength. Lizzy often responded with gratitude, showing that even during her most difficult times, she cared deeply for the people who believed in her. This bond made her more than just a racer. It made her an inspiration. Lizzy was not just another racer. She had a driving style that set her apart. On the track, she was known for her aggressive but calculated approach. She pushed her car, Bonnie, to the absolute limit, often making moves that left fans cheering and competitors nervous. Her sharp reaction times, ability to handle high pressure, and fearless mindset gave her an edge. She wasn't afraid to take risks, but those risks were always smart and based on her deep understanding of cars and racing dynamics. Her father's engine-building knowledge gave her a technical advantage, but it was Lizzy's instincts behind the wheel that made her special. Commentators often praised her ability to stay calm during intense moments, like when a race came down 2 milliseconds. For her, driving was not just about speed, but also about mental focus. She once mentioned in an interview that when she was on the track, everything else in the world disappeared. It was just her, the car, and the finish line. That mindset helped her become one of the most respected racers in the sport. Lizzy's family played a huge role in her journey. Her father, Pat Musi, was not just a parent, but also her mentor, mechanic, and biggest supporter. He built engines that powered her cars and gave her the knowledge needed to understand the machines she drove. Her mother, Elizabeth, and her sister, Patricia, were also constant sources of love and encouragement. Racing is often seen as an individual sport, but for Lizzy, it was always a family effort. The Musi family worked as a team, sharing both victories and defeats. Even when Lizzy faced accidents or setbacks, her family stood by her side, reminding her that she was never alone. During her cancer battle, their support became even more important. They were with her through hospital visits, treatments, and difficult days. This strong family bond showed the world that behind every great racer is a foundation of love and support that keeps them going. Fans admired not only Lizzy's strength, but also the Musi family's unity, which became an example of how family can make even the toughest battles a little easier. One of Lizzy Musi's most important contributions to the world of racing was how she inspired women to step into motorsports. For many years, drag racing and most forms of racing were seen as male-dominated arenas. Women who wanted to compete often faced skepticism and criticism. Lizzy broke through those barriers with her undeniable talent and confidence. She showed young girls and women everywhere that passion has no gender. Interviews with female racers often include mentions of Lizzy as an inspiration. She became a role model for anyone who was told they couldn't do something because of stereotypes. By winning races, making history, and staying true to herself, she paved the way for more women to take part in racing. Her legacy is not just in the trophies she won, but in the courage she gave to others to follow their dreams, no matter how difficult or unlikely they seemed. When Lizzy Musi passed away in 2024, the racing world came together in a way rarely seen before. Tributes poured in from fellow racers, fans, and even competitors who once faced her on the track. Social media was filled with heartfelt messages, videos of her best racing moments, and stories of how she inspired people. Some teams placed stickers on their cars with her name or initials as a sign of respect. Racing events held moments of silence in her honor, and many drivers dedicated their races to her memory. Her car, Bonnie, continued to race, reminding everyone that Lizzy's spirit was still alive on the track. The community not only mourned her loss, but also celebrated her life. They remembered her as someone who changed the sport for the better, who showed courage in every battle, and who lived with passion until the very end. Lizzy Musi's life holds many lessons that go far beyond the racing world. Her story teaches us about resilience, how to keep going after setbacks and accidents when it would be easier to quit. It shows the importance of family and support systems, reminding us that no matter how strong we are, we all need people who stand by us. Her journey also highlights the value of chasing dreams, even when others doubt us. Perhaps the most powerful lesson comes from her battle with cancer. She taught the world that strength is not about avoiding pain, but about facing it with courage and grace. Lizzy's openness about her illness gave comfort to others fighting the same battle and helped